Hey guys, I haven't made a video in a while, as you can probably tell. Um, I moved to a new apartment recently, and just wanted to make a video. Um, just kind of spur of the moment. I just wanted to make something showing off some of the stuff that I have, stuff that I probably could make individual videos about in the future, maybe. But for now, I'll just kind of, it's just kind of a showcase. But I got this box because this is one of the boxes I use to move stuff, but I kept it just because I can keep some of my controllers and other stuff in here. So this is the Retro Advance adapter, and it plays Game Boy Advance games on the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. Because the cartridge is Super Famicom shaped, but the tabs uh, are used so that it can fit in the Super Nintendo. It doesn't play Game Boy or Game Boy Color games, but I can live with that. It's it just doesn't have as big of a library as, say, if you were to like use the Game Boy player, because I can play like every Game Boy game. Uh, and also, I couldn't find a way to fit the e-reader. Um, but I can imagine it's still like usable with this. This would just have to be like where you like the one where you put the game in, and you'd have to have like a Game Boy Advance and a link cable so that you can use the e-reader. Not a big deal. Now this is the PC Engine controller. It's a lot like it's basically a TurboGrafx 16 controller because the PC Engine is known as the TurboGrafx 16 in the US. Um, it's definitely very similar to the NES and Famicom controllers in that it's basically a ripoff, but it's a nice controller. Now here is my RAM adapter. It's used for the Famicom disk system. And I also have the FDS stick, which is a Famicom disk drive, I guess you could say emulator. It's basically like a little flash cart. You load it up with Famicom disk ROMs. You need Windows software to use it, so I just use a virtual machine because I have Linux. Let's see, got some Wii, GameCube controllers, N64. I think that's about it for this box. There's also Super Famicom controllers. It's just, I have controllers. Anyway, so my Game Boy Color, I actually imported this from Japan because at the time when I was looking at listings, this was actually the cheapest one that I can get with a bunch of games. Here are the games. They're all the Japanese variants, but aside from the Dragon Quest games, that doesn't really matter because they're playable. And also, I think the Pokemon game as well. I can't play that one because it's all in Japanese. Which is actually kind of interesting because in the U.S., all the Pokemon games had different color cartridges, but in Japan, they were only gray. I always found that interesting. I do have a couple of the original Game Boy Pokemon games in this bag, but I'll just, save that for later. I got some Famicom games. Super Mario Bros. 3. It's a very nice. It's a interesting version of the game because the way you take damage is actually more like Super Mario Bros. 1, where if you're like Fire Mario or whatever, if you take damage, you become Small Mario. And also, there's a couple glitches that were fixed in later versions. This is actually a pirate cart of Mario 3 Mix. Really good ROM hack, but I have an interesting story behind this one. When I got it, it wasn't like revision 2B, which I was okay with, but also this would not save. I checked to see if the battery was dead, and I think it was. So I went online. I got in contact with Leon from NES Reproductions before he quit, and he took a look at it. He was able to put revision 2B on here, but he said it was more difficult because this is not an official cartridge. It's basically a pirate one. And also, when I got it back, it still wouldn't save. But I opened it up, and I think it just kind of like came loose in shipping. So yeah, it works now. I got Devil World. This is one of the earlier ones before they had the fancier box art for it. This is how the early Famicom games looked. They just had this little design on here, which is replicated on my EverDrive. So yeah, got Kirby's Adventure. The first game I can think of that actually autosaves. That's actually kind of interesting. And Twinbee. It's a game that I wish they had actually brought over to the US, because I think as a kid I would have really liked this one. And also my copy of Renegade. I have a bunch of NES games somewhere, but I had to, go digging, and I didn't feel like doing that for this video. This is just kind of like a quick little video. Just wanted to show some stuff off. Might do another one. But anyway, here's some of my Genesis games that I still have from when I was a kid. The thing I like about Genesis games is it's way easier to find them in the case, because they're actual cases. They weren't like boxes that you like threw out. So that was cool. Now in here, I got Ghostbusters for Wii, Operation Wolf, and Arctolai, which I still haven't played yet. I have to hook up the PS2. This game I'm not really a big fan of. I actually like the sequel better. And this is an unlicensed NES game, MiG-29 Soviet Fighter. I remember this actually being not that bad of a game. But it also has that little switch that I never knew what it would do. Turns out, I think that's to like switch between like PAL and NTSC or something like that. I don't know. Got some Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I haven't looked at this in a long time. It's for like Apple II computers. I don't have an Apple II computer anymore, so I might sell this online. And this game, which I don't know why the fuck I still have this. With that out of the way, let's take a look at some Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. And actually, this one here, I like how it has Pikachu and Pichu on there. But also, I don't think I have batteries for it. Yeah, no, I don't have batteries for it. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it for right now. But this actually has a backlight because it was modded. So yeah, let's see what game we have in here. Super Mario World. Okay, classic. Now, let's take a look at some of the stuff I have in here. Okay, so got the Game Shark. Never really figured out how to use it, but whatever. Got an e-reader. I think I still have some cards somewhere. My SP. Let's see what game we got in here. Mario 3. Really good version of the game. Got the charging cable. And yeah, I got the Pokemon games. I think this game is actually a Final Fantasy game, but I found it like this, and I don't know why they did this. Like why they like painted it red. I have no fucking clue. I don't know. But anyway, got Pokemon Red and Blue, you know, standard ones that you'd want to get with a Game Boy. Got Fire Red, Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't know where I got this one, but and this is some wrestling game that I found. Doesn't work very well, and the game isn't that great either. And Zelda, Link to the Past, and Four Swords, and Midway's Greatest Arcade Hits. And I think there was one other game somewhere. It was like a collection of Capcom NES games, but I don't know where that went. Okay. Well, I'm a little disappointed now, but yeah. I was able to kind of show off some stuff that I have. This is actually a Tri-Wing, because, you know, I needed something so I could like take one of these apart. I think that's about it for now. So yeah, if I ever make another video, I'll show off some more stuff. So anyway, take care.